can't see me is because I'm not in shot. I'm in dire need of hydration. Ah, dear, oh dear. Here you go, I'm back. Oh, what a top day. I've had an absolute blast this week. Those of you that saw Monday's stream would have seen that Terry Gordon from H&T Gordon Plains came up, and we had an absolute blast, and he thoroughly enjoyed the experience of being oh, excuse me, let me get in the chat room, of being involved in a stream which he'd never done before, so that was pretty interesting. Actually, what I'll do, I'll just update this dashboard. I think that'd be a real good idea, because this is just going to be a chat session, nothing heavy, just a chat session. So I'll just get my keyboard and I'll change it over, and I've got to tidy my shed and all that sort of stuff, so I thought I might as well turn it on. So let's have Q&A woodworking general chit chat. Whoops, it's all in uppercase. Q&A and chit chat plus tidy shed and get ready for Saturday stream. And we'll update that. Boom, 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 boom. Where do I do? There you go. Done. It's all done. Bring that back there. Okay. I've got a chat room up now. What have I done? I don't know. Yeah, for those of you that watched Monday's stream with Terry Gordon, Plane Maker Extraordinaire, it was an absolutely great event. We had the release of the new plane that's that new, he hasn't got stock of it yet, and so a couple of little things he thought, oh, I think I might modify that. So he'll be, what have I done now? He'll be modifying that in the coming weeks. And what we actually did, actually I'll show you what we did. I've never seen it done before with hand planes. It's a lot of, I've been, I don't know, woodworker for 30 odd years, I suppose. And I have done a lot of dovetails over that time. I'm just tidying up these. These, I just got to give these a plug. These are absolutely fantastic. George, if you're watching, what have we got? That one there. Yeah, these, the new G6 eye muffs. It's a good on you, Bob. I'll go and get Bob in a tech. It's ear protection and eye protection in one. And even if you wear glasses, like I do, it covers it so nicely. Cuts the noise out, cuts everything else out from hitting your eyes. That, they're made by eye muffs. And that was a special set that they did for me, because normally when I'm in the shop, I'm wearing my apron, which many of you know is that one there, Woodworking Masterclass. But seeing this is a chit chat, and I'm just doing a couple of things. I didn't need an apron on today. Hang on, let's see if Bob's going to come in. Oh, you coming in? No, not too sure. We'll see. Once he realises I've got some chocolate. What's my favourite hand tool? Oh, now there's a question. It differs. It honestly does. It differs from what I'm doing. I would have to say hand plane. Which hand plane? At the moment, yeah, go. This is my all-time favourite tool at the moment. It's called the Moving Philister, and it's for cutting tenons and rebates and anything that requires an edge to be cut. It's all handmade out of a timber called Gidgee, which is peculiar to Australia, and it's an H&T Gordon one. And that, I think, at the moment, definitely would be my favourite tool. There has been a time when this was my favourite tool, which is a block plane. That's made by Veritas. So it really depends what I'm doing, but definitely at the moment I'm leaning towards that moving Philister plane. And of course all the moulding planes I've got up here, because I enjoy making mouldings. Here's a moulding I did, I think it was last week, and I did use a couple more planes, but this actual moulding, which is to go around the cabinet, can be done with 3 planes. That's a rebate plane and a set of number 6 round and hollows, or 3/8 round and hollows. So yeah, I guess it depends what I'm doing at the time. Hope that helps. Yeah, what we did on the weekend, let's put these away. Oh, these go out in the other machine shed, so I'll just take them out there. Thing is, if I've got ear and eye protection near every machine that I'm using, then there's no excuse for me not to wear it, because if it's in here and I go in there to do some machining, I'll go, and that's it. Oh, I'm out of breath. Okay, yeah, what we did, Terry thought this through very, very well, and I'll see if I can get a close-up of it for you. Cutting dovetails using a hand plane. There was no chisels, there was no saws, it was just purely with hand planes. And there you have a dovetail that was cut with two, got me thinking there, yeah, two hand planes, and that's the pin there, or the socket, which is also cut with 2 hand planes. And then they, which way do they go? They fit in that way. We had to work on, no, hang on, that goes that way. And we had to work on tolerances, which we've got to get down a little bit tighter. But quite frankly, when I look at making drawers, for example, I say for an average drawer has got 3 or 4 dovetails in it, and that can take me up to 20 minutes to cut the dovetails for one drawer. Doing it this way, or one side of one drawer, so you times that by 2, so maybe 40 minutes. Doing it this way, I reckon I can do the dovetails for 4 drawers in about 8 to 10 minutes, and it's finished and they're all precise. That's not cutting out the pins that the drawer goes in, but just for the dovetails. Absolutely extraordinary method. And then these sliding dovetails here, let's see if I can work out right front, yeah. So this, if you can imagine it, this part here glues up, oh, give me this one, no you can't, so it's going to be that one. This part here glues up as a complete frame, which I haven't glued up obviously yet. And then this frame, when it's in one piece, can actually then, where are we? Wait a minute, let me get there. Can then actually slide into the side of the carcass. Oops, that way. Like that, and that is also done with 2 planes. It's a sliding dovetail. So the whole carcass construction is just done with dovetails and done with 3 hand planes, which I think is pretty darned extraordinary. G'day Max, how are you mate? Good to have you on board. You're a glutton for punishment. Theo on the morning and then me in the afternoon. This is just, I'm just tidying up the shed after everybody's been here, and then I had another friend here today. I'm just playing around with this screen, who's also a furniture maker, Richard Vaughan. Look him up on the net if you like. Richard Vaughan works in wood, and he was up here. We were doing something with video editing because he has to do some video editing down the track, so I showed him the program that I use to edit the videos I've got. And we will see how it goes. G'day Alan, mate, welcome along. Yeah, it was a very interesting day yesterday. We didn't stream any of it, but excuse me, while we went through the process, I had one of those nights. Actually, I had a funny night last night. Number one, I was thinking of the process that Terry's used, and I can adapt it to another way of working, which I'd like to maybe have done before the Lost Trade Centre in Toowoomba in a couple of weeks. And then I thought, I've got to upgrade, because I nearly did this stream from the Room for Woodwork workshop. I've got everything set up now. I've got Windows 10, I've got the capture cards, I've got the stream decks, I've got all the cameras, but I just didn't get it all together, so I thought I'd come down here tonight and do a bit from here. But Windows 10, I was going to go and get it done. Alan, that shop just up from where we had a coffee the other day, it was the IT shop I was going to go to, and it was closed, and I've rung up the shopping centre, and apparently they've closed their stores all over Brisbane, so I don't know. And I was a bit peeved because it was about $150 to upgrade my computer, which I thought was fair. The other place I found that was going to upgrade it was going to charge me $350, and I thought, oh, well, you know, if I can't get it $150, I'll have a look at that. And then I took your advice. I went and had a look. I'm just going to flick this monitor around so I can see what's happening. There you go. And looked into the window shop and to buy a copy of 10 to put on the tower so I can broadcast out of the Room for Woodwork workshop. And I noted it said if you've had Windows 8 on your computer before, you can reinstall it. And as luck would have it, when it first came out in December last year, I thought, oh, I'll have a look at Windows 10, and I put it up and I didn't like it. I thought it slowed my computer up too much. So lo and behold, I just hit a button and it started to download, and I thought, oh, that'll be great. And this was about 8 o'clock. And I just went to sleep, and then the computer woke me up at midnight when it went, bing! You know, it's loaded, and I thought, oh, good, well, I'll just shut the computer down. But oh, no. Do you accept? Oh, yes, I accept that. Oh, you've got updates. You have to change this. You have to do 2:05 this morning. It was finally loaded, by which time my brain was buzzing with these ideas that Terry came up with. So I didn't have much of a sleep. Actually, I've just had a grandpa nap for about an hour and a half. So that'll get me through to the end of the stream. Then I'll go up and have something to eat and then get a normal night's sleep. So we're all ready to go. I've got Windows 10, but thanks for your help. Thanks for your help there, Alan. It was good. Yeah, you are, Max. You are. Glutton for punishment. Walk in shadow. Yes, I know. I realise that walk in shadow, but I didn't have the time. And I really only need Windows for one thing, and that's to run my Stream Deck. Oh, no. Where is it? There we go. It's to run the Stream Deck off because it runs on Windows 10. So hopefully it will do that. If not, yep, I'll have to reformat and do the whole bits and pieces. We will see. And now I've got this computer and set up down in the workshop down here. I do a lot of editing down here, so I don't need to use that one up there so much. But anyway, we're getting... if you install an OS over an already existing, what's an OS? Oh, operating system. Now apparently it uninstalled because I was running 1.8 and it installed 10, and then I got, do you want to revert back to 8.1? And I said yes, and then it said you can upgrade to 10 anytime you like, which I forgot about it until last night. So hopefully the computer's working, so that's the main thing. My programs that I use are working. What have we got? Is that bathroom break? They got it. Okay, we'll see when you come back. From 8 to 10 is an exception to that. Oh, there you go. Thank you for that. How's a four-legged monster? Mate, you should have seen him. Richard came up when Theo was... Theo, by the way, for those who don't know, Theo's my co-conspirator on Saturdays. He's a wood turner, so he does wood turning next to me there, and I do furniture making here. And somehow or other, we fill in 3 hours, and people seem to enjoy it and hang in there. But we were watching a bit of Theo, and Richard came along, and look what he bought. What a bad lad. He bought that, and he said, we better check it. And there was no Bob in sight. He was out of the house. And I said, watch this. So I just opened it, rattled the paper a bit. Sure enough, would not have been 60 seconds. He was by our side. Give me some. So he had a good time. G'day, Ray. How are you, mate? Welcome to the shed. What else? I've got to tidy up, as I've said. I don't know if you, and I'll show you those dovetails a little bit later on. Again, when there's a couple more people watching. But it was an extraordinary event with Terry. These dovetails, well, they're the sockets, and yeah, they're the dovetails. And look how nice and clean. They're off-centered for a reason, but look how clean the shoulders and crisp they are. There's no tear out, there's no adjusting, there was no fiddling around. And they were done with 2 planes. So I had not seen it done before. Well, no, that's not true. I had seen it done before because I went down to Terry's a few months back and we were experimenting. So I feel quite privileged to be on the breaking ground of that, and I've thought of other ways I can utilise it. So this is the cabinet that Terry was working on, which I've got to finish, and then I've got around, whoa dear, around there it's another set of components, which was going to be for the same one, but I'm going to bring my ideas into fruition and I'm going to try that a different way. So I think it's going to work and it's going to be exceptional, but it will be so quick in putting components and cabinetry together. I'm pretty excited about it, I've got to tell you. Yeah, what was that? Ray, Theo has to do push-ups at your place this Saturday for at least 20 of them. He moves the tool rest constantly without, I had a quick chat to him after he streamed, but funnily enough, I was at a coffee club, drinking coffee and eating BLTs, which is what Theo and I do every Saturday when we finish here. And I didn't have time to chat to him. So thank you, sir. That's good, Ray. So that means it works both ways. I use sandpaper, you dob on me, but if he messes up, you can dob on him. Good. Makes the playing field even. I like that. Pretty excited too with what's happening with streaming. Good. Walk in shadow. Please, you're back. Gay Frodo, 98. Hello. Welcome to the workshop. This is not a normal, well, it's starting to become normal, but it's not a normal woodworking masterclass one like I do on Mondays and Saturdays. I'm going to do a bit of woodwork because I've got some jobs I have to finish off. And it's just general questions about woodwork. You want to know anything? You want to see anything done? You want me to explain something? If it's within my bounds of knowledge and capabilities, I'm more than happy to stop dribbling about what I'm dribbling about and get in there and do it for you. We had Wednesday, I think it was, we had a couple of people that wanted to know how to set up planes and what angles to sharpen at and how do you saw different things. So I did that. I'm just going to fold this tablecloth up. This tablecloth goes over the monitor in front of me, and if I can at least get it halfway looking decent, it's easy the next day. Although I'm not in here tomorrow, I've got to go to Brisbane tomorrow. My wife's friend wants to go and buy a sewing machine and I have to go and pick up some equipment for my Tormic. So that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Ray, I'll also finish watching the Terry Gordon stream on Sunday, then watch Saturday stream on Sunday too. Oh, yeah, that's right. You're off with your 2 younger sisters from my memory. You have a great time at the show. Well, speaking of shows, right, I'm a wrinkly, okay? I've been around the sun a few times, and I'm bringing my 2 grandkids up. Well, that's a happy memory, Walk in Shadow, that it brings back nice memories, but sad that he's passed. So sorry for your loss, but it's great to know you remember him in a good spirit. That's wonderful. And I'm bringing the grandkids up. Oh, what sort of things do I make? Actually, I'll tell you what I've got to do. got to do some stuff so you can have a look. We make furniture, we make chessboards, we make boxes. Anything really with woodwork. This is a project we did a while ago, which I've got to finish off. It's a chessboard, and that currently is being serialised on my YouTube channel, which is Woodworking Masterclass on YouTube. I'll show you how to make this edge banding and how to cut the squares out and how to lay them up and keep them square. We make boxes, little things like that. Do marquetry. This is a small cabinet that I'm working on at the moment that I've got to have finished by the weekend. So Saturday, I think I'll be working on that one. That's got to have some moulding made. I've got to finish. Oh, speaking of the door, I've got to finish the door off. Max, you might have been watching it. And for the uninitiated, I've got a dog, mongrel dog called Bob. He's an absolute gorgeous dog, and he likes doing woodwork too. I always cut things. I never cut things to exact length until I'm ready to put them together, just in case. Just in case is because the dog decided he wanted to help me the other day and chewed the corner of my door panel off. So luckily, it's longer than I need, so I'm in front, but I'm not cutting that off until I'm ready to put it in. I've got another bigger cabinet over there, walk-in shadows, which, if I can get it, oops, this is when it's finished. It's a cedar cabinet. It's got a secret compartment in it, and it's got a cigar humidor hidden in full view, and that's called the William Davis cabinet, and that's named after one of my patrons on Patreon, who's in New York. And then I've got another one which I'm building, who gave me a reminder the other day, and I hope he was pleasantly surprised. I hadn't forgot about him. John Mahoney, he's another patron, and I'm making carving chisel cabinet, and these will be the panels for the doors. So yeah, we make all sorts of things here, providing us woodwork, and I don't really like the DIY stuff. Oh, here's another thing. And then we make tools as well, so there's a shooting board. What have we got? Bench hook. Veneer hammer. So if I make a tool to do a job, I generally share with the people watching how to make the tool. So there you go. Let me hang on. Oh dear, oh dear. G'day, lads. How you going, mate? I stumbled across some programs you made for C31 a few years ago. We've all got a little grey, mate. I don't mind the colour. It's when there's nothing there. That's a sad bit. And they didn't have good lighting like I've got now. So actually, they asked me a couple of weeks ago. They wanted some more programs, so I've got a heap because I am on cable TV. I think it's Fox 602, and I've been doing a lot of programs for them. And then C31, was it C31 or was it? Might have been C44 in Adelaide. Rang me up and said, "Have you got any?" I said, "Yeah, I've got about 20 series, so you can have them." And he was going to pass it on to C31. So if you're in Melbourne, you'll get to see it there, and also WTV in WA. Oh dear. Oh, thanks, Walking Shadows. I appreciate that. I do my best. Oh yes, yeah. Look, this is one. I've got this, but I unfortunately let it sit in the box, and cockroaches got in there and messed all over them, which is a bit of a nuisance. But you can't tell it on the black ones. The other reason I'm doing that, did that chessboard, if I can find it, is. We had a big storm a while ago, and that's what happened to the chessboard. So I thought, about time I made a new one. So that is going to be relegated to the next bonfire we have, I think. And this new one hopefully is going to be much nicer than that one. No, I didn't make the pieces. I bought those on eBay, actually. They're an old French set. And no, I don't plan to. Although, having said that, Theo, who comes in, he said, why don't we make a chess set? So he might, I don't know, he might be watching and he'd be cringing. He might make one on the lathe down the track, but we don't have any immediate plans to do that. Yeah, they're not there yet, Laz. In fact, they were meant to send me an email, but it just gets so crazy. I'll most likely catch up with them next week. So hopefully, we can get that sorted, which would be good. Max, no, I've still got a bit there. Max. Now. Oh, I know. Yeah, if you watch the Saturday stream, I had a guest here. Actually, I might as well start working on this one. I had a guest here, Alan, and it was a lovely experience. He's a really nice guy, and he sat quietly in the corner, and I wasn't too sure if he was bored to tears and was too scared to leave, or he actually was interested. But he said he enjoyed it, and he said he saw a lot more of the stream actually being in the workshop rather than just watching on the computer. But unfortunately, it's not that big that many of you can come and visit in person. But I made this frame up. Where are we? Yeah, I made this frame up for a key cabinet because I lost my keys for 3 weeks. I'm going to tell you a sad story about that in a minute. But I did find them, and I was making the frame up, not a problem. And I'd veneered the back of it. I haven't veneered this side yet, which I should, but I'm not going to because it's only going to be screwed onto the wall. And then when I put it all together, I realised I'd made it too big, and this part just fell through it. So when the stream finished, how old are my grandchildren? 12, 13. The ones I'm bringing up, and then I've got another granddaughter. She's 9, 10 next week, I think. And I've never seen her. It's sad. She's in Canada. But she watches me. So now that fits in there nicely. And what I want to do is fit this door. So I might do that tonight. And also cut the glass to go in here. So we can get that done anyway. 84 Toyota, g'day mate. Welcome to the workshop on YouTube. Oh, it's good to have you along. Haven't seen you for a couple of streams. The ones that are coming to visit. Oh, no, they don't visit. They live here. They're always here. Oh, you live in Canada? Oh, mate, she's in Ottawa. Go and see if she'd like to come out and visit her granddad. I'd love that. BC, okay, I'm not, what, is that British Columbia? I'm not up with the short ones there. But my son's hoping to get back to Canada soon too. He came back here for a visit, and now it's a little bit but he wants to get back obviously to his family and his little girl and his son and what do you call it? Partner. Still, he's happy at the moment. He's doing the best he can. What was it? Did you ask me something, Max? I'm sorry. Oh, yes. No, we got that. Oh, dear. G'day, mine, Rusk. How you going? What books do you recommend in cabinet making? Funny you should mention that. I will share that on Monday. And I'll show you the ones that I prefer. Either that, I reckon I should be, hang on, let me just have a look at the dates. Because, oh, look at that. Okay, well, with a bit of luck, I'm going to be streaming the same time I do on Mondays, which in Australia is 9 o'clock in the morning till about 1. And I think that's about 7 on the east coast of the US and 5 or something on the west coast and 6 in central. And I reckon I'm going to be right to be streaming from the house. So the bedroom in which I'm going to be live streaming, the woodworking room for woodwork, I've got a big bookcase. So what I'll do, it's going to be easier for me then, just whilst I'm in the room, I can pull the books out. And I will show you, I'll give the titles, the ISBN numbers, and the ones I think are really good. So I've got some excellent box making books and cabinet making books, general woodworking, planes, marquetry, carving, period furniture. So there you go. So that'll be, I'll do that, promise, mine Rusk, on, is that the 5th? Let me double check that. I think it's the 5th of October. We'll be going live from Room for Woodwork. Is it the 5th? Yes, 5th. Look at that. So that's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, I think Terry thought we were going to be streaming out of there when he came up, but alas, we didn't. And I'm pleased we didn't, because if you have a look at all the shade, look, hang on, I'll bring this camera around here. Oh. Says he, hopefully. So I need a longer lead on that camera. I really do. Let me turn that around there like that. I'll just change this. There you go. Look, look, look at that. These are gorgeous. These all came off the plough plane. Just listen to that. That is so nice. And you can still smell the coachwood. So yeah, I've got to tidy all that up. So I'm pleased, I'm very pleased that we did it here and not in the bedroom, because that's too much mess. What's your opinion on veneers? Oh, nothing wrong with veneers. I love veneers. I've been asked before, actually, when I was doing commissions. People say, oh, can you make it in solid timber? And really, if you're making fine furniture, I would, and you want a decorative, I would use veneer. The reason being, on a good substrate, I mean a good substrate, not your cheap $30 a sheet stuff from a hardware shop. The substrate I use, I should be able to find a bit around here, says he, hopefully. Dear, oh dear. Okay, a little, that's not the biggest one that I use. That's too big to carry. But I use birch ply, and this is 12 mil. Now normally 12 mil, you'd get 3 plies, maybe 5, but that one you got 7. And there is no voids, and voids are holes within the different plies. And I use 18 mil, so by the time, that's only 12. I use 18 mil, or that's 1/4 inch or 6 mil as well. I use 18 mil, so by the time you put veneer on, you're back up to 3/4 inch or just over 3/4 inch. And it's stable, it won't split, it won't crack, it's repairable, especially on a good substrate. If you do it on MDF or chipboard, no, it's not, but on a good substrate. So to answer your question, yeah, I like veneer on furniture. Chairs, I'm not crazy about veneer. You could do a little inlay on the back of the chair back, but it's got to be solid. It gets knocked around a bit. But for stationary, static furniture, yeah, I love veneer. If you have a look, you want to get your mind blown, have a look at, and I'll see if I can write it in here so you can see it. It's there you go. Hannah cabinet, H-A-N-N-A-H cabinet. Have a look at that. And a friend of mine made it, and he was also my teacher when it came to marquetry and fine furniture and carving, and we both learned French polishing together. And it is absolutely extraordinary, and the majority of that is veneer. And if you've got a spare $1.5 million, you can buy it. He's sold another one for $500,000, and they're veneer. And it's just the most incredible work, and it will be around for the next 500 years. So there you go. Dear, oh dear. Where are we? Best hand plane you got? Sean, at the moment, I've got to say, and someone asked me this earlier on, the one I treasure the most is this one here. It's an H&T Gordon moving Philister. It's all handmade and it's all made out of brass and wood and steel for the blade, obviously. But it is my prized possession, I guess, at the moment. I use it so much. When I bought it, I was a little bit, I don't know if I'm going to use it, you know. But every job I do, I use that in some way or other. Barring that, I do like the NX60 block plane, which is the Veritas. I call it Lamborghini. It looks as if it's going 100 miles an hour before you even use it. But all of that, the other great one I use a lot, which is a weird one, and this is an ECE. It's a toothing plane, which I use when I'm veneering, and the blade itself is corrugated, so it rips very fine lines and everything, and that gets a lot of use. So I don't think I've got, apart from the moving Philister at the moment, I haven't got one that I love the most. I think I love them all the same. They're all good. Having a lot of wildfires this summer. State of emergency was declared. Oh, in Canada. I tell you what, I think we're going to have one of these summers in Australia. My yard is like a brown paper bag. You walk over the grass 3 or 4 times and that's it. The grass is gone. There's just a dirt patch. Very, very susceptible to a bad fire. So I hope you're safe and you get through the wildfires in Canada there, walking in shadows. Ken, how are you, my friend? Welcome to the workshop. Welcome to the bench. Ken's on YouTube, come from Hong Kong, loves my woodworking videos. So, well, I'm very well, thank you, very well. Mike on YouTube, g'day from Missouri. G'day, mate. Welcome to the workbench. Alan, can you show an accurate way to measure and cut segments? Yeah, look, all I do, segments is on Twitch, because I'm running Restream here. That's why if I'm talking, you think, who's he talking to? He's not answering my question. It's because I'm running on 3 platforms, but come the 1st of, whatever I said, October, let me have a look. Yeah, come the 1st of October, I'm just going to be streaming on Twitch. For me, it works better and it's less of a hassle. There's nothing wrong with YouTube. I love YouTube. I like Mixer, but it gets so confusing working with the 3 different platforms. And there's a lot of things on Twitch that I have coming through OBS, through Streamlab, that I can see notifications of follows and subs, donations, and I want to give due respect to the people on Twitch that are doing that, and I get instant notification. But with Restream, I don't. So if you're on Twitch and you followed, thank you so much for the follow. If you've subbed, 50% off subs this month up until the 1st of October. Thank you so much. Any donations, thank you. That ain't living, you're not on, but thank you very much for that lovely gift I received the other day. That was beautiful. Well, I don't know if it's beautiful. I know it's going to be beautiful, and we'll take advantage of that very, very shortly. So I'll be changing to Twitch. So if you're on YouTube and you enjoy the streams, if you just flick over and register on Twitch, same thing, Woodworking Masterclass, you'll get notification of whenever I stream, and it will be around, I'm working up to 4 days a week. So it's a 4-hour stream on Monday. If you're north of the equator, that's Sunday night. Then I do this stream I'm doing currently, that's for 2 hours. That's from 5 till 7, or 2 hours from whatever time zone you're in. And Thursdays will be, I might start Thursdays from 9 till 12. I'll see how I go. That's in-house workshop. And the in-house workshop for the uninitiated, I have a workbench in the corner of my bedroom, and the space is 1.6 by 1.5 or 6 foot by 5 foot. I've got a workbench in there. I'm making full-size pieces of furniture with 99.9% hand tools. And I'll be showing you how you can work if you live in a flat, if you live in a walk-up, if you've got no spare space, but you've got a little bit of area. One streamer was telling me they've got an area under the stairs, very Harry Potterish, and they have turned that into a workshop. So it is possible to do work, not make a mess, not stink the place out with toxic fumes, and not make a noise and annoy your neighbours if you're in units. And I'll show you how to do that when we start streaming. That's on, when did I say? 5th of October. So I'm really excited about that. And then Saturdays, of course, I do the stream with Theo, the Woodturner, which will be Friday nights if you're north of the equator. So if you want to watch some of those, they'll all be, this Saturdays will be the multi-stream, and then from then on, it's just going to be on Twitch. So please, if you like it, go over to Twitch, join up and follow me. Thank you for the follows. I really appreciate that. And what I will do is pull any pertinent parts of the stream out, cut it down into a video, then I'll load that onto my YouTube channel. So you still will get any pertinent bits that I think are important, or if somebody, Terry did a very interesting segment on Monday stream about plane angles and why they go blunt. Now, I'm in the process of editing that, and that'll go up onto YouTube so you can learn about angles. What he did, which he meant to do in the demonstration, by the way, which he showed me the other day, yesterday, because what are you doing with a number 4? Now, Terry, for the uninitiated, Terry is the man behind all these beautiful planes. So he makes these, that's his smoothing plane. He makes round and hollows, side rebate, dovetail planes and moulding planes. And he had a number 4 Stanley with a plastic handle. I said, mate, what's the deal with the handle? What's the deal with the Stanley? He said, funny about that. He said, I'll show you what I meant to show in the demonstration. So hopefully he's coming back, and I know he'll show you then. But he had, there you go, he had this thin piece of timber, and it's only about 1/4 inch, 6 mil, and he put it in the vise, which is down here, and he planed it, and it planed absolutely beautiful. Curly shavings came off, not a drama. And that blade was ground at 45 degrees. He said, now get me a wider bit of timber. And I got him this piece of New Guinea walnut, put it in the vise, and there was no way in the world you could plane it. If you push down really hard, you might have got a shaving out of it, but gee, it was hard. We took the blade out, it'd shave your arm. That's how sharp the blade was. But because the angle was so steep, the clearance angle, which this talk was all about, was non-existent, and it wouldn't cut. So it's really a very eye-opening video, and he changed my way of thinking. When I started off, I used to only use one angle. Then after, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, I changed to 2 angles, which is a primary and secondary angle. Then after seeing, and I was like that for 25 years, and then after seeing what Terry was talking about, I've just gone back to the Tormic. I sharpen all my Stanleys at 25 degrees, and on Terry's advice, all his planes, I sharpen at 30 degrees, and that's it, one angle. So, yeah, very, very informative. And he did, he enjoyed it. I'm getting back to that, Alan. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Is it okay to post a link here to YouTube links to 31 programs you made? Others, oh look, I don't know what Nightbot's doing. I don't have a problem with that, lads. If you want to put it up, that's fine. If it comes back and Nightbot gets a little bit rude, I apologise, but I don't have a problem if you want to put that link up. Walking shadows, they mostly got under control now. Oh, that's good. Wildfires and beasts burned out over a year. One of the largest in history. That's frightening stuff, isn't it? Fat man with a limp. Mate, I just love that name. You make me smile every time you come on. Thank you so much for your company. We'll get it to you if I can. Oh, okay, not a drama. Morning from Wales, Apple Hash. How are you, my friend? Thank you so much for coming back. You have a serious question. All questions are serious. McTire, yeah, ask away. What is it? Ray, there we go. Just so, thanks, Ray. I appreciate that, mate. Thank you so much. Anyone who's followed or sub, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. And I'll be able to give you instant feedback and appreciation once I start streaming just on Twitch. And make sure you monitor the dB. What am I pushing? Am I pushing too high? Is that too noisy? You want me to turn it down? I'll turn it down if you like. Sunday night, you mean Monday early. Has Baggy after watching you and Terry? I'm guessing you had baggy eyes, Simon. Simon on YouTube. Watch me on Sunday night. Yes. That ain't living, mate. You're a star. I hope you got my email this morning. Thank you so much. And Susie missed you. She said, I haven't heard from That Ain't Living. Is he all right? And yeah, mate, grey hair, that's life. Losing hair, that's kids. Truly. Which piece of timber? Oh, that bit of, what's not? What is it? New Guinea walnut. Yeah, it's quite nice. No, double N. What did I write? H-A. Hang on, I'll write it in there again. It's H-A-N-N-A-H. H-A-N-N-A-H, Captain. It's a palindrome. There you go. Did that go? I hope that went in. Boom, boom, boom. Hannah Captain, that's it. It'll come up, I think it's Bungendore Gallery. That's where it is at the moment. But it's a work of art. Is the Tormek worth the price tag? Alicia, yes. And yeah, I know where you're coming from, and whew, but it only hurts once. And once you've got it, I wasn't using it properly. I was only using it halfway. I was using it as a secondary sharpening system, if you like. And then I would go back to stones, I'd go back to leather strops. But then I had one of the demonstrators from Tormek come out and we did a video. And he showed me what it's capable of. And that's all I use on my tools now. Occasionally you'll see me use a leather strop, which is, where we go? There you go. This one here, and I don't use a compound on it. But as a rule, from now on, I'm just using the Tormek. I do sometimes use stones, but that is to share with people that don't have a Tormek how you can sharpen, how you can sharpen blades using a stone and the technique I use there. But personally, when I'm sharpening my stuff for work, that's all I use now, the Tormek. And I've got a T4 as well, which is a smaller one. And I've just realised I'm much better off with a T8 because it's a bigger radius. So I'm going to have to somehow sell my T4 or trade it in or whatever, and I want to get another T8. So I've got one up in the house as well. And you get, with the T8, you get the basic jig for holding the blades and chisels, and also the diamond jig for flattening the stones. So there's absolutely no reason it can't stay flat, which is also this, I don't know if you can see it on there. This bit here is extra, but this bit here is standard. That's the flat one. I use this for carving chisels. That's why I got that. And Theo uses his for the turning chisels. Warthog for your bedroom stream. Yeah, what do I want for my bedroom? Oh, the DBs. No, it's all good. Oh, thanks for that, Laz. I appreciate that. Star Citizen Ken, good morning, afternoon. Well, g'day, hi, and how are ya? Welcome to the workbench. Welcome to the shed. Jamie, hi again. Alan, you get around. Oh no, different Alan. Sorry, I thought that was another Alan. And can't do without mine. Oh, it is, same Alan. There you go. Are you on YouTube now? You're switching between the two. You're confusing me. Where can I buy a good hammer? Look, this is my favourite hammer as far as hammers go, but it's about 35 years old, and it's an Irving metal hammer. A lot of people don't like them because if you're not careful and you hammer, that can actually almost sever your finger. But I like it. It's a 20 ounce and it's nice and comfortable. It doesn't hurt your wrist. I don't know where you can buy them, and it's got a leather handle on it. So I can't help you there, but if you want small ones, Lee Nelson have some really nice, I hope to have one soon, really nice little hammers. Not this one, they've got beautiful little brass tack hammers. And Japanese Tools Australia, Christian has beautiful bronze hammers, little Japanese ones. Gary, thanks mate, welcome to the workshop. G'day Richard. Yeah, no, Bob's up in the house I think because it's tea time or dinner time here, and he's just hoping someone drops something on the floor so he can eat it. Did you repair the cabinet door he ate? No, it's still here. It's going to get done. I'll mostly be working on that on Saturday. But no, that's it. That's a Bob trademark. Mutt. But I can fix that. It's all right because it's over length anyway. Yeah, 84 Toyota. It's amazing, isn't it? Absolutely. 6.5 years it took him to make. And it is a work of art. Yeah, it's a East Wing hammer. Old one. All right, so what I'm going to do is, so I might as well, so we'll see if we can clean this up. It was really funny because I'm, those of you that notice, or you might not notice because you're looking at me from the telly, I'm a left-hander. And so my bench is set up for left-handed work. Terry's right-handed. So he had adjustments on my bench, but I'm going up to a festival in a couple of weeks called the Lost Trades, and I'm demonstrating his planes. And his benches are right-handed, so he's getting revenge on me. Oh, okay, here we go. Let's bring this one around here. Alan suggested this was a good angle. So there you go. There it is there. And I'm just going to clean these corners out with this wee little plane here. It's called a hand router or router plane, as opposed to an electric router. Stanley make them. This happens to be a Veritas. I'll show you Stanley. They've got a couple. That's a 71, and you can pick those up on eBay for anywhere from $100 to $200, and that's a 71.5, and they go a little bit cheaper, but this one actually is more versatile if you're doing doors or setting hinges, because you've got this flat piece here so you can go right along, whereas this one you've got a foot that actually drops up and down, and sometimes when you buy them that foot is actually missing, so when you go on something that's not too wide, that's what happens, it digs in. So it's an idea if you're going to buy something off an auction site or anything online, have a look at what the full thing's meant to look like, and then have a look at the one you're buying and just make sure that there's no pieces missing, because it's a little disconcerting when you realise you've just bought something and it's not totally all there. Oh, I was talking to Lee Nelson Australia too on Monday, and Anthony will be up in October, and we're going to have some fun with Lee Nelson Tools. So we'll be down here in the shed. I think he wants to bring up one of the, that's rattly. he wants to bring up one of the workbenches that he makes, so that's going to be exciting to see that. And I'll try some of the Lee Nelson tools out, which I'm really looking forward to. I've got a couple of their tools, so I'm really looking forward to trying out a few more. Okay. Now, well, that was where that was glued in, or glued up. Let me see if I can get this any higher. Oh, there we go. It was just a little uneven, which it still is there a little bit. So I'll fix that. I haven't forgotten, Alan, I'll show you to cut 8s in a minute. Ow! That's a splinter. Now what I'm going to do is cut the glass for that, so I'll just measure that, which is 36 millimetres long and just under 180 millimetres wide. I don't know what that is in feet and inches. Because I didn't use a feet and inches ruler, I'll write that down here. 180 this way and 360. So I'm going to drop that to about 355, 358, I think. Because I don't want it to be a tight fit in here in case the timber moves and it can crack the glass. And this one I think I'll have at 176. So I'll just see if I've got a bit of glass down there and I'll cut that. And we'll drop it in. Oh, but as I said, this isn't woodworking, it's generally Q&A. Yeah, there's a few ways you can cut those out. Yeah, before I go into cutting those 22.5 degrees, are you talking cutting this way or in the flat plane? So do you want to make an 8-sided box? I've got one over here somewhere. Oh, there you go. Dum, 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 boom. Oh no, that's a 6. No, it's not, it's 8. Do you mean you want to cut an 8-sided box, so you want to know how to cut it this way? Or do you want to cut it so it's flat 8-sided? Because doing that is a lot easier, but it doesn't matter, we can work it out. G'day, David from Pittsburgh, welcome to the workbench. Let me get back here. I've seen some scale ships that took over a year. Very cool. Yeah, it's a lot of work. And there's a lot of, Richard Vaughan and I were talking about it today, the joy you get from making something with your hands. It doesn't matter, look, if it's pasta, it doesn't matter. You're making it with your hands rather than getting the machine to just press a button. There was a comment on Monday's stream about, I'm so pleased your planes are handmade, Terry, but do you tell them they're handmade? Because a lot of times now handmade means your finger pushed a button so the machine could make it. So there you go. Yeah, 6.5 years for that 84 Toyota. That ain't living yet. East wing hangers, I love it. Hammers, I love them. I love them. I'm copying your bench. Big finger lefty. Mate, you got to have, we made a friend of mine makes workbenches. It's not Anthony from Lee Nelson. I mean, he is a friend of mine that makes workbenches, but this other chap. And the guy who ordered this bench, it was for Christmas last year, he said, oh, can you make sure that the bench is on the right-hand side, the vise is on the right-hand side? So we fitted it, and we took it up to the Sunshine Coast, which is about 110, 120 kilometres up the road. We offloaded. I said, oh, you're a left-hander. He said, no, why? I said, we asked for the bench to be on the right, the vise to be on the right-hand side. Oh, no, I'm right-handed. So we had to switch it around. Unfortunately, this bench has got 2 vices, the right and the left. This has got this one and the tail vise. This bench over here's got 2, and this one over here's only got 1, but I can fit 2. So we will see. Gary, you're welcome. You're welcome. Gary on YouTube says, thanks very much for the stream with Terry Gordon a few days ago. Such beautiful planes he makes and great information passed on. Yeah, no, he's a wealth of knowledge. It was really funny though. He was planing, he was using this one, which is one of my favourites. It's a bow yacker, and I don't know if you saw it, but I've got a video of this plane actually being made, which is pretty incredible. Goes for about 20 minutes. And he was planing, and it just didn't seem to be going right. And all of a sudden I laughed, and he looked at me and he said, what's up? I said, mate, I was about to say to you, do you want me to set that plane? Then I remembered who you are. You're the guy that makes them. So, oh dear. My heart's in the right place, what can I say? To view some programs Steve made for, yeah, no, that's it. No apron. No, you don't get the boobies because I'm not. There's the apron. Look. Thursday's not a woodworking day. It's a finishing up playing day. So I'm not in woodworker mode. Oh, there's some lefties out here, lefty too, Max. Good stuff. Oh, okay. No, that's easy. Okay, we'll do that. We should get jackets. Yeah, I'd love to do that. I reckon I'd like to have them. Bob's my woodworking guru or something like that. Small gears will be 8 slices, bigger gears 16. Yeah, well, that's twice as much. Chisel angles. Depending, I now have mine at 25 degrees. A lot of people like 30, but I find I get away with 25 without too much trouble. Robert Sorby Gilt Edge do a primary at 22 with a secondary at 25. Irwins, Marples and what have you generally do a primary at 25 and then say go to 30. But quite honestly, I keep mine at 25. As I said before, I just go one angle on the Tormek, and 25 seems to be it. Except for all of the H&T Gordon stuff, I do that at 30. Can you show us your shooting board for 8-sided boxes? Well, no, because I don't shoot 8-sided boxes. I do those on a saw. But the board you're looking for is called a donkey's ear, and I don't have one. I can show you my shooting board for 45s. Actually, this is one I do for edging on 6-sided boxes. There's a couple here. I don't know where that part is. It's gone tatters, but this is a shooting board I use. When I'm box making, I only use a block plane generally. So that is, that's set up for 45 degrees and 60 degrees. So hexagonal, I put the timber in there, and then with my block plane. And then with the block plane, I just do that. That gives me my 30 degrees for the boxes, 6-sided boxes. And this one here is for 45 for square boxes. Here's another style of one, that's for 90 degrees, and then there's a wedge that goes in here at 45 degrees, so I can get really fine edging on my boxes. And generally I just either hand saw through a, oh gee whiz, must be late, what are they called? Saw box, to get my angles and cut down. And if you use a fine saw and you're accurate, generally you don't need to plane them because they should all be the same size. You set up a saw stop wherever you want those to go. They're in the shed next door, but I've got them on a loop. Oh, let me just have a look, see if I might have one here, I don't know. I might. No, I think you're plumb out of luck. Speaking of boxes, I'll show you this. This piece is absolutely extraordinary. I'm going to make a box out of this. No, But what I do, I just make up set lengths and then put a piece of timber over the edge, and that locks onto the side of the saw box, and then I cut however many pieces I need at that size, then I put another one off, get that size, and that's how I put those boxes together. But look at this. This is just absolutely, isn't it amazing? Figure in that. I'll see if I can wet it. Here we go. The figure in that is just gorgeous. So that's going to be a box down the track. That's New Guinea rosewood. I've got a couple of sticks of that. It was funny actually, Terry asked me on the stream on Monday. He said, "Oh, have you got a bit of wood? I just want to show you something." I said, "Yeah, okay." I grabbed this big hunk of wood, and I got from the timber shed into this shed, and the light hit it, and it was like that. It was just chockers with fiddleback. I said, "Mate, you're not getting that bit. That bit's a nice bit. We'll use that for something else." Okay, let's cut some glass. Then we'll cut some 8 sides. How about that? Barney of the Rubble, I can see why you'd wear hat and shirt in the shed. Steve, hang on, start again. I can see why you'd wear hat and shirt in the shed, Steve. Would make a good mopping up rag. Yeah, no, it does. I use it all the time. They're good for that. Don Prim, hey mate, whereabouts in Australia am I from? I'm in Queensland, in Brisbane, which is north-east Australia. Okay, south-east Queensland, north-east Australia. Thanks, Alan. Does Terry have a YouTube channel? I think he does. I know he posts a lot on Instagram. But yeah, no, I think H&T Gordon. If you go to the H&T Gordon website, htgordon.com.au, they might have something up there with videos. Don Prim, we got a lot from over there. We got a lot of WA people watching. Why does it make you sad? See, you got 3 from WA already. For mortise and tenons, basically. Yeah, look, I've got a mortise and tenon video up. I'll do a tenon, and I'll show you this plane, and the mortise we cut out with chisels. So there you go. It's 4 now. I thought the rest of you strange people seem to be from Perth area itself. Oh, that's nice. Okay. Drunk Patrick, evening. How are you? Welcome to the workshop. Let me find a bit of timber and we'll do a... Oh, this will do, I suppose. It's not the nicest timber in the world to use, but... Oh, no, I'm going to cut this glass. I'm getting sidetracked, aren't I? Just cut this glass. Oh, it's just starting to rain. That sounds lovely. That's not going to fit. That's not going. Oh, that'll fit there. Look at that. Aren't I lucky? I've got enough room. Ah, dear. So I'm going to. So I might just draw the lines on with the texture, and we'll give them a try and see how good I am, or how bad. Okay, so that's just in there a little bit, that's in there a little bit. I'll put that there, so if I go on the inside of this texture line, we should be good to go. There we go. Whoops. Okay. So I've just drawn that on there with the texture, and if you can see it, well, you can see it there over there. So I'll just cut that out. And what I generally do is I'm going to cut this bit first. So I'll cut this width down there first, on the inside of that line. Let's see if I can find the glass cutter. Hup, look at that. You can buy some really cheap glass cutters off of the net, and the reason they're cheap glass cutters is because they are cheap glass cutters. This one I'm using here, I think it was nearly $20 15 years ago, but it is a good one. The cheap ones, if you see there, it's got oil inside it, and the cheap ones you can put oil, you can see it running up there. The cheap ones you can put oil in, but as soon as you turn it up that way, all the oil comes out the head, which goes all over your job, all over the glass, and is a bit hopeless. There's several ways I can do this, but I'm just going to do this quite quickly. There we go. So when you do it, you make sure that there you go. You allow for the fatness of the cutter head. So I want that to be cutting on the inside of that line that I drew. And you just, one run like that, give it a tap, and that is it. That's how easy it is to cut glass. A lot of people get a bit thingy about it, but there's nothing hard about it. Just don't rush it, not too much pressure. So I'm left-handed, so I've got to spin this around again. Wait a minute. If that's sitting on there like that. Okay. If I got that right, it looks a bit thin to me, but I don't know, we'll see. There you go. And it fits. Bravo. These two little bits here I'll use for something else later on. That's 2mm glass. It cuts very, very easily. 3mm glass, you've got to use a bit of force on, but there you go, you can see that. You've got to use a bit of force on, and 4mm glass I would go to a glazier to get it cut and get it polished as well. Okay, so that's one more job. One less job I've got to do. Where are we up to? Rains! G'day, mate. Welcome to the workshop. Let's catch up on all of this. I mean the angle on the chisel for mortise and tenon. Yeah, no, there's no drama. It's 25 degrees. I shall do one for you shortly, as soon as I cut up some 8s. Oh, thanks, Grizzly Bear. Yeah, this is an impromptu. Actually, I think it's going to be a regular, but it's not going to be a full-on woodworking. It's going to be basically me tidying the shed up between streams. But you get the opportunity to have a chat, talk with me, ask me any questions, and I'll do the best I can. And we'll see what we can do. James Lean on YouTube, you're new. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the workshop. Welcome to the bench. If you want to ask anything woodwork related, by all means do so. Shane Bain. It's lit in here. Oh, okay. Say hello. I'll say hello. Hello, Shane Rains. Oh, all right. Hello, Nick. There you go, mate. How many people am I saying hello to? Nick Kerr. Oh, good on you. Whisper into screams. Saw a finger into the cloth. Bet you won't. Oh, yeah, good on you. I'm just trying to get through all this. No, look, it's easy to cut. Like it will 3mm. I can do 3mm, but you've got to really push hard for the 3mm. Thanks, Lean. I appreciate that. James? Roto, good afternoon. How are you? Welcome to the workshop. Okay, there's a few ways you can get eighths. I'll see if I can get something that I can cut into eighths for you. Where's a bit of timber? I'll get something nice. Here you go, this'll do. It's a bit of cedar. So 22.5 degrees. First of all, you've got to get 22.5 degrees. There's these things that I use, which are absolutely fantastic. They're a friend of mine developed them, and they're called sewing circles. And my wife had them in the sewing room, and I thought they were such a great idea. I would have a set down here in the shed. And this one here, which is blue and red lines, it will divide anything into 2s, 3s, 4s, basically. This one here, which is yellow and blue, will divide anything into 5ths or 7ths. So if you wanted something divided into 21 parts or 25 parts or 15 parts, you use this one. If you wanted it divided into halves, 8ths, 12ths, 16ths, you use this one here. So what I'm going to do here, just so we can get the angle, I'm going to try this. I haven't done this before this way. I generally do it a different way. But all I'm doing is setting the sliding bevel up. So where's our first one? We've got to go. This one here, I think. See if my brain's working. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, I don't think my brain's going to be working today. No, it's not big enough. I needed a wider bit than that. Pity. All right, what can I use? Oh, I know. I've got these. I don't know what I'm worried about. So basically, you've got to set this to 22.5 degrees. In this case, this is a Nobex square, and it's actually got locks. So it locks in at 22.5 degrees, it locks in at 90 degrees, and it locks in at 45 degrees. So that is what I'll use. So that's 22.5 degrees. Let's go 67. There we go. So it's just a question of marking whatever it is you want to mark. Then what I do to get an accurate cut is use a knife, any sort of knife, score down there, and then with a chisel, depending which piece you want to keep. If you want to keep this piece, you run the chisel down this side. If you want to keep this piece, you run the chisel down that side. So we'll say we want to keep this piece. So I'll run the chisel down there. And then it's just a question of getting a saw and cutting it. If you want to be more stable, you can get a saw box. Nobex, I've got one here, but it's up in the house. Make a good one, or I've got an old Stanley one here, which I actually picked up on eBay for $10. And great thing about those, this one leaves a much rougher cut than the Nobex I've got. Oh, but if you look here, it actually has the number of sides. So that's cut in half. That angle's for 24 pieces, that's for 12 pieces, that's for 8 pieces, that's for 6 pieces, that's for 5 pieces, and that's 45 for 4 pieces. So if you can pick these things up, they're pretty reasonable and they work with a back saw. Or there are new ones around. There are some cheap ones on the market. I wouldn't like to comment on them because I haven't used them. But the Novex ones aren't that dear really. I think a couple of $100, which, okay, it's a couple of $100, but it's a saw you're going to use for a long time, and being a hand saw, it's not going to wear out. So that ridge there will allow my saw to sit up against it. Then it's just a question of maintaining this in an upright position. Then saw through. And then if you get that into there, so basically we could turn that around, and that's the start of an octagon. So if I do that, another 4 times, that will give you the 8-sided shape. And as you can see, it's a pretty darn good fit. So I hope that clears that one up for you, Alan. Easily peasily done. Cutting tenons. There are various ways you can cut tenons, but the way I prefer obviously is with a tenon plane, which is a moving filister. And let me see. All right, I might do one on this, and then we can I don't know, we might put it, I won't put a mortise in there, but I'll show you to cut a tenon. That's the easiest way. Whoops, get out of there. These end vices, if you're building a workbench and you're going to get an end vise, get a really good tail end vise. This one's again an H&T Gordon, and it is just so handy. I reckon I use it more than my regular bench vise. I don't know if we can, but what I might do is talk to Terry and see if we can organise maybe a giveaway for subs or something like that. We'll see, no guarantees, but we'll see. Okay, I'm just going to adjust this out. This actually adjusts the fence. It's 12. It's pretty darn close. And how thick's that? Clunk. Okay, that's 20 mils, so we want a 10 mil tenon. So I'll set the depth to 5 mil. And that should give us 10 mil on the finished tenon. There we go. See if I can I'll get a nice end. Okay, there we go. Just use a little bit of candle grease. I don't think I need these remotes here. And I slide that on the brass bits. And this is how we do tenons. That's one half of it done. There you go. One tenon. Complete. Nice square shoulders, even all the way across. And then with the mortise, I'd set it out with the marking gauge. Then chisel. What I actually do, I won't do the whole mortise, but I'll show you how I set a mortise out. And might give you some idea. What's the measurement on this? It's 22 mil, so half of 22. If it was 20 mil, I want 10, so there's 5, 6. So if I take 6 from 22, yeah, okay, I'll take 6 mil from each side, and that should give me the width of the chisel I'm going to use, which is 3/8. Now, bearing in mind this isn't for a job, so it's not going to be super exact there, but it'd be pretty close. So I'll mark that. And I'll put a bit of water in there. Oh no. No, I'll use this. I would put it in the vise, but I might as well use this and I've got it out. Just for the exercise. Boom, boom, boom. Is it going to work? I don't think it's going to work. I've just got to square this off. Wait a minute. Might not rise up so much. Well, square off the other end too, Noddy. There we go. That's better. Done. Let me catch up on chat. What's happening? Hello, Anthony. How are you, mate? Hey, welcome to the workshop. Thanks for coming over from Mixer. Hanjobas, hello again. Glad to see I'm still streaming. Mate, I am, and I'm pleased to see you're still watching me streaming. Ray, thanks for the dogs. Oh, dear, oh, dear. Where we go? Yeah, thanks, Snack. I will. Oh, we're right back there. Hang on, I've got to catch up. Good morning, Tim from Norfolk Boards. Welcome to the workshop, mate. Alan Reddick, g'day. Where do you get your timber from? I'm not being sarcastic, but I get it from my timber shed. I've been collecting timber for, well, over 20 years. So a lot of the stuff I've got, you just can't get anymore. They've shut all the leases down. So what I've got is what I've got, and there's no more to get. Okay, Jojo, I've tried that. We should be on a different camera, thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of cool bench designs out there. But look, the thing is with a bench design 84, get one that suits you. I could get in all sorts of trouble, but the bench at the moment, everyone's raving about this Robo bench. Now, it was built in, I don't know, what, 1700s? The guy had a workshop and it suited his purpose, but all of a sudden it's the holy grail of workbenches. I have not had a purpose-built workbench in my life. This one here was a whole heap of 2x1 pieces of oak that I put together. I don't know if you can see that the legs are just rotten old bits of hardwood that are all falling to bits. It's got a rail in the middle there that I hang, what do you call it? Clamps off of. And that's it. The bench I've got now is an old rugged hardwood bench. Nothing, to write home about. It's a great little bench, but it's not one of these robust whiz-bang with all the bells and whistles. The idea for me of a workbench, the main thing is reasonably stable, and if you look at, I'll show you, if you look at this one, it rocks around and wobbles, but it's stable enough. The most important thing is to get it the height you want it. All my benches that I work at are 1 metre off the ground, or 3 foot, just over 3 foot off the ground. The ones you buy, they're about 850, which means you'll be bending down all the time. There are a few around at 900, but even that's 100 mil, that's 4 inches shorter than what's comfortable for me. So I like to have this height of bench. Then I can just work at the right level. I find that I can, if I'm pairing with a chisel, I can just move in and use my body. I'm not having to come down to meet the bench. It's at the right height and it's workable. I'm 6 foot? So if you're around the 6 foot, get one 1 metre high. Even if you buy one and you have to chock it up, that will work. Now, bearing in mind, this is not neat, what I'm doing here, but I'll show you what I do with marking out mortises. There we go. A lot of people don't, and I just, to me, it works. Maybe because my eyesight isn't as good as it's meant to be. Now, I've done marking lines down there, and I've marked out the width or the length of the mortise with a knife there and there. Then what I do is just get a chisel and just go in and just do a little bit of relieving on either side. Doesn't have to be much, 32nd of an inch or, half a mil, and then we'll do it. This one. Down here like this, and I'm sure there'd be purists out there that say I'm kidding myself, but after doing this for many, many years, I find this saves me so much time. And you can see there that I've actually relieved that area where I want to do the mortise. So when it actually comes to cutting the mortise, which I'm not going to cut all of it, but it doesn't matter if you use this is a proper mortising chisel or a firmer, and this is a bevel edged. It doesn't matter which one you use. Where's the mallet? There we go, whoops. And then that chisel will fit nicely into that little recess. If you wanted, you could go a little bit further and just take a little bit out of the middle. So it's been knocked down. This could do with a sharpen. But for me, to have that relieved on the edges, it just allows me to get that chisel in there, and I know I'm where I want to be. Because if I'm just using a pencil line there, there's every chance in the world, and I know because I've done it, that I'll miss. And if I'm a fraction of an inch or fraction of a millimetre over to one side, the next time I'll come back it might be this side. So if I want to have a 3/8 mortise, I'm going to end up with a 7/16 mortise, and if I've got a 3/8 tenon and a 7/16 mortise, it's going to be loose. And that's another thing, I never cut my tenons until I've cut my mortises, for that very reason. Sometimes you might cut it a bit too wide. I remember I did one not long ago, I wasn't thinking. I grabbed the 1/2 inch chisel when I wanted a 3/8 chisel, and I just cut this mortise and it was way too big. But because I hadn't cut the tenon, I could cut the tenon to suit, and then the rest of them I cut at the right size. So hope that helps at all. And those chisels, by the way, yep, they're at 25 degrees. Ah, okay, where are we? That ain't living on Twitch said he should sell a kidney and buy one of these. Oh, honestly, they are gorgeous. They, you know, they cost roughly about the same as a contractor's saw, but far more versatile, and they're never going to burn out. They don't make a noise, and they are there forever. And I think they can only increase in value. I really do. Okay. What are those covers called to stop shavings from getting down? Oh, these spats. I think they're just called. Where are we going? Ba-da-da-da. You really want a picture of me socks? There you go. Yeah, I think they're just called spats. What else could they be called? Gaiters, spats. They're about $6 for men's clothing shops or hardware shops sell them, but they're brilliant. Also, if you're doing any welding. I do welding from time to time, and if you've got those on, well, there's nothing worse than a bit of slag going down the inside of your boot, and burns your sock, burns the elastic on your boots, and not nice. No, I got them from, in Australia I bought them from Lowe's Menswear. Bunnings have got them, but I don't like the elastic in the Bunnings ones. Lowe's Menswear, and they also have khaki, which is nice. Oh dear, oh dear. Eric, another tip, glue leather pats onto the underside of your bench dogs. Yes, good idea. And that saves the bench dogs damaging your timber. What I've got here, and I use when I've got finished timber I'm working with, these are actually wooden, whereas normally it's brass or aluminium ones, and then on finished work that I don't want bruised, I use wooden ones. Well, you want some planes? So I had to count up the other day, and planes that I actually use in this workshop, I've got over 50 of them that I use, and that ranges from there you go, the smallest. I was looking for that other little, where is it? Yeah, that ranges from these real weeny tiny ones I use when I'm making instruments or really fine stuff, up to, of course, the Stanley number 8, which I do use quite a bit. And then I think this is the biggest one I've got. This is a big Matheson trying plane, which I use. So from the sublime to the ridiculous, where did I put those other little ones? They've gone. Ta-da. There you go. You got the big ones and the little ones. And when I decide to have a sharpening day, that's what I do all day. Give the Tormek an absolute flogging. But even tools that I haven't used, some planes I don't use very much. I don't particularly like my number 5, but it doesn't matter if I've used them or not. They still get a sharpen, because then I know for sure everything's sharp, and it's an absolute delight to just grab a plane. You know, say I'm doing a stream like this and someone will say, oh, have you got a 5.5, can you show us how to use that? So I'll grab that. Or if you've got a number 1 or a number 2, I can just grab that and bang, I know it's going to work. And there's nothing worse than being really in the zone of doing your woodwork, enjoying it, you know, really in a good headspace, and you pick up a plane or a chisel and it's blunt. It just, And then you don't want to stop to sharpen it. So what do? You keep on pushing, then you get tear out, then you slip, and then you have accidents, and then you get cranky and you've lost the mood. So it's nice to have a sharpening day now and again and get everything nice and sharp and working. Let me just put this in here. Oh, that's meant to go in there. There you go. Not like that, obviously. There we go. Oh, dear, oh dear. I don't know about that, Eric. I'm just a bloke having a go, mate. G'day, Tony. How are you? You're getting a double dose of thearonite today too, aren't you? Mate, if that bench works, that's all you need, a bench that works. Yeah, a lot of people, and again, there's nothing wrong with it. A lot of people take a great amount of pride in building their bench, but what I've noticed with that is then they don't want to use it because it's going to get marked. I mean, this one, if I slip with a chisel, whoops, I've just taken a chunk out. Doesn't matter. This is a workbench. That's what it's there for. It's there for me to work on. So I prefer to work on my bench rather than working on my bench. I think you've got to have a comma in there to get that one somewhere. But anyway, that's it. Let me see. Spruce bench would be lovely. Yep, well, there you go, Danny. Danny's just said his workbench is based on Paul Sellers' design. I'm not aware of what that is, but spruce is a lovely timber, and it's 1.6 metres high. So that would be just under, it'd be about 2.5 inches higher than mine. And bearing in mind too, this is something to consider when you're making your workbench. Behind me, or underneath me, not behind me, I'll just move this back so you can see. Okay, I've got carpet there, and underneath the carpet, there's an extra 1/2 inch of rubber mats. So that's a good inch that I'm losing on my bench height. So that was taken into account when I built the bench, because if you've got those rubber mats, the reason I've got the carpet over it is great because everything falls on there and I can just suck that up with a vacuum cleaner. Whereas if you don't have the carpet, two things happen. One, the rubber mats separate and then you've got unevenness, and sometimes it can be dangerous, you can trip. The other thing I don't like is then all these shavings fall down the holes and they're an absolute nightmare to clean. So I got this, there was a shop in a shopping centre that was getting recarpeted, and this was the offcuts, and I just said to one of the carpet layers, I said, mate, could I grab a bit? Yeah, mate, he said, take a piece. So this is about 900 by, I don't know, 2.4 metres or something like that. So what's that, 3 foot by 7 foot, 8 foot? And it was going in the bin, and it will last me for years and years. 88 on YouTube says I built 2 both about the same height as mine, hopefully a third with multiple vices. So you're going to buy the vices before you get the planes or after you get the planes? Oh dear. Give me the blade and I'll make one. Give me the blade and I'll... Oh, there you go. Well, thank you for that. You're a sock manufacturer. Well, I'll be blowed. Mate, mine are all red. Truly, true story. I'll show you why. I buy my socks, and they're red. Every single pair of my socks is red. The reason for that is I've got 3 sons and 2 grandsons, and none of them would be seen dead wearing red socks. So guess what? I keep all my socks. Whereas if they were dark blue, brown or black, I wouldn't have any socks. So see? I don't care what they look like, providing I can find them in my drawer. You've got a number 4 and a Trojan bent bit of tin. I thought you were going to deep 6 that bit. That ain't living. Yeah, look, do some research on Plains 84, find out what you like, and depending on what sort of woodworking you're going to do will denote what sort of planes you're going to use. I would highly recommend a block plane for many, 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 many years. I can't find it now. I was going to tidy up here, wasn't I? I did. Oh, I found my sunglasses. It's a bonus. I've been driving around all day wondering where my sunglasses were, so I'll put those over there and I can take them up to the hacienda when I finished. Oh yeah, here we go. For many years, that was my, come up here. It was great when I had Alan in the shed on Saturday because I had someone to change the camera angles. That's a low angle Stanley 060. You can get those, if you're in America, I bought a heap for, I think it was $40 each off Amazon. In Australia, they're about $160 odd. And from Bunnings, quite frankly, if I was going to pay that sort of money, I would get a Veritas, not an NX60, these are about $400 or $500, but a DX60, and they're about $240, I think. They far outweigh that plane. If you're in the market for a new plane, if you've got to buy one, I would spend the extra $60 and get the Veritas one. So there you go. Perfect pens. Well, that's nice of you. Thank you so much. I look forward to your progress, and who knows, you might even be able to come out here one day and we can have a chin wag. That sounds like a good plan. Or we were talking of a coffee one day at the Hyperdome. We can do that too one of these days. Your bench is made from durian and weighs a ton. It's good to have a solid bench. As I said, mine aren't, but yeah, if I had one that didn't move, I know when I used to go down to Jeff Hanna's and work in his workshop when I was one of his students. Oh yeah, they were good. Big 8x3 tops on them, I think, and 4x4 legs of hardwood. Whoa. I'll have a look at that, Danny. Danny's saying on Twitch, Paul Sellers does a series on YouTube videos building a bench. Okay. Angry Pickles, have I ever built anything out of corn? No. Can honestly say I haven't. Alessandro, hi mate, how are you? Welcome to the workbench. This is just a regular Wednesday night, have a chat, questions and answers. Have I answered everything people have asked me? You wanted to cut things at 22.5 degrees. We've covered tenons, we've done mortises. Well, that's good. And by the way, as I've said before, come 1st of October, I'm just going to be streaming on Twitch, not on YouTube or Mixer for a while. And it's just, from my point of view, it's easy for me to do because I'm a one-man show and it's so easy just to have one channel. But I'll be taking bits and pieces out. For example, cutting that glass or maybe making that tenon, that could quite end up on a YouTube video, which I'll put onto YouTube. I'm still putting projects onto YouTube. But if you're on YouTube and Mixer and you'd like to catch up with all the other streams that I'll be doing in the future, please switch over to Twitch. It's twitch.tv/woodworking masterclass and hit the follow button, and whenever I go live, you'll get a notification that I'm on. If you've followed me, thank you so much. If you've subbed up, thank you. And I know someone that has, so Ray, thumbs up, mate. I really appreciate that. I think subs are 50% up until the 1st of October on Twitch at the moment. I want to work out something special for the subs that I have on Twitch, and possibly that'll be sort of something to do with Discord, or I'll work something out. If you've got any suggestions, drop me an email. My email is admin@woodworkingmasterclass.com.au. Let's try it again. admin@woodworkingmasterclass.com.au. And those of you that have already sent me messages, or I reply and I answer all comments on YouTube and anything on Twitch. And if you sent me something on Whispers and I haven't answered, the only reason is I don't know how to do that yet, but I'm learning. And my wife's got a channel called Crafty Old Women. She does sewing and embroidery and what have you, and I know some of you people watch her, which is really nice because she enjoys it. And it's just a great avenue to share what we love doing with people who either love watching it or want to get involved with it or have some questions or are on a different journey but want to share their ideas or their thoughts. So providing you're nice and you're polite, we really don't care. And everyone tonight has been absolutely fantastic, so thank you for that. What have we got here? Mate, I'm doing well, Alexandra. Yes, I just actually wanted to cut. I'll do that on, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, and I'll do it on Saturday. Yeah, look, he's a lovely bloke, Tony, Perfect Pens. I don't know if you know him, but yeah, he's so easy to get on with, and his showroom, when you're there, I know he might not take you in there, but if you ask to have a look at his cool room, it will blow your mind. And just the way he's got everything set up in that shop, yeah, it's a delight. It's like Willy Wonka for woodworkers. It really is. Oh, thanks, Eric. I appreciate that. Hope you continue to watch. Dear. Yeah, speak nicely to the bank manager. Max, you got that right. What was I going to do? Oh, yes. Now, what I'm going to do with this door on... I better put that so I don't break it. Okay, I'm going to put screws in here to hang the keys on. And then that gets rebaited in the back of there, and that'll get screwed on. And then with the door, because this is actually going in the hallway, I don't want to put a knob on it because it's going to be protruding from the wall a little bit. And if I've got a knob on it, if I go to walk in the kitchen during the night, I don't want to catch it on my PJs or anything like that. So I've got the edge of the door hanging over a bit. Now, when you open a door, you can have it so it opens like that, and sometimes it can go over centre, which then puts strain on the screws and the hinges, and you can get loose doors. And what happens then, the door starts to sag and exaggerate, but that's how it looks. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to, and those of you that saw it, this is how I clamp this together. We did that on Saturday, I think, just using these rubber bands. That holds it in nice and tight. I'm going to put some keys in here as well, which I'll do on Saturday. And I'm going to mitre with a hand plane, 45 degrees on here and 45 degrees on the inside of the door, and then lay the hinges, which I did have here, if I can find them, which I most likely can't, because I'm flat out finding the floor at the moment. Whoops. Hinges, 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 where are you? I don't know. They'll turn up, I'll find them on Monday, but on Saturday. They're ordinary butt hinges, and they will sit inside these two mitres. So when I open the door, it will only open to there, and then it'll lock at 90 degrees. And that way I'm not putting undue stress on the door. And then I can hang my car keys up there, and I won't have this big panic of finding my car keys. And where they were, it was really funny. We looked everywhere. And my wife said, have you looked here? You look, yeah, I've looked there, I can't find. And she said to me, she said, why don't you look where they're most likely not going to be? I said, what do you mean? She said, well, look in places you wouldn't think of looking. So I did. I went into the room for woodwork, which is the bedroom with a workshop, which I'll be streaming from next Thursday. I went down underneath the bench, and on the bottom shelf of the bench, up behind the cabinet that I've got hanging on the end of the bench, under a cloth, were my car keys. And what had happened, I'd come in, I'd thrown the car keys on the toolbox, which is on the end of the bench, and it had hit the top of the toolbox, slid off, fell down the back, slipped down to the between the toolbox and the workbench, and when I was grabbing something, I would have picked a bit of rag up, thrown it over there to cover the keys up. 3 weeks I didn't have a car. Now I do. Hey, interesting thing, speaking about cars, we were going out the other night for dinner with Terry. Hopped in my wife's car, she's got a little Toyota, and couldn't get it out of park. Could not get it out of park. So I thought, oh, that's lovely. So I went on YouTube, thank goodness for YouTube, and put parking Paul won't release. And it was connected to the brake lights. One of her brake lights were out. So because you're meant to put your foot on the brake, and then you can hear a solenoid click under the dash, and then you can release the parking Paul and put it in reverse or drive or whatever. But when you put your foot on the brake, with one of the brake lights out, the current draw was less than what it needed to recognise the fact that all the braking electrics were working. So this guy said, first thing, check the switch, on the underneath of where your brake pedal is. That could be faulty. No, that was fine. Check the fuses. No, that was fine. Check the bulbs. Yep. One of the bulbs was out, and somebody had put the other bulb, which has got two filaments, in upside down. So we changed it around, put a new bulb in, and all of a sudden we got gears. So if you've got a Toyota and it never happens to you, check your brake lights. There you go. I see. Old mechanics never die. I just don't like getting dirty. That's why I don't like doing it anymore. Oh, mate, Alexandra, yeah, it was great. It's on VOD on Twitch, and it's on YouTube too. So if you have a look on YouTube, well, it won't be the last stream. This will be the last stream. It'll be the stream before this. And it's got Terry Gordon's special guests. So check it out. That would be good. Laz, I have a low angle block plane and recently got a Stanley number 4 that needs a little restoration. Should I be hunting for a number 7? If you want to do furniture, I would say most definitely yes. If you've got big hands, if you've got small hands, and I recommend this for ladies, if you can't get a number 7, get a number 6, but you won't regret it. Can you show me how to sharpen my moulding planes I bought last week? They're old and tatty, but I've restored them, but have no idea how to get them sharp. Yeah, we can do that. Not now because I'm about to wind up, but if you want to come back on, and I notice you're on YouTube, Richard, if you want to flick over to Twitch, or send me an email with a couple of photos, and I'll help you best I can. admin@woodworkingmasterclass.com.au. Here is my first stream. I don't know who was, Ray would have been, and that ain't living. This was one that a friend gave me that was destined for the bin. It's a rebate plane with a skew on it, and yeah, we restored it live, and I just couldn't get it to work properly, and then I realised why, because I'd sharpened the blade to 90 degrees, but the sole was out of whack, and they had ground the blade to suit the sole. So when I straightened the sole up, then it went with the blade, it was fine. And then it still didn't seem right, and when I put a straight edge along here, it was about 1/8 of an inch warped that way. So I machined 1/8 inch each side, and it was originally would have been a 1 1/4 inch, and now it's down to maybe 1 1/8. But I showed it to Terry, and he said that would be ideal for doing raised panels, and that coachwood cabinet we're going to do some raised panels in. So here's hoping. So there is life in them. Sometimes you have to modify them a little bit, but happy to help. So if you want to flick me an email, Richard, to admin@woodworkingmasterclass.com.au, I shall help you as best I can. Woodhog, g'day, mate. I don't know what drawers you're talking about. If you're talking about drawers in cabinets, no, you can fix that. And generally what you have to do is put new drawer slips in. That could be a good exercise down the track. We might do that. How to refurbish drawers up. When I used to do a lot of restoration work, that was one of the things that I was always doing, because especially pine and cedar, as the drawer slips wear, the drawer wears at the same rate, so you have to put infills into the sides of the drawers and also replace the drawer runners. A lot of people say, oh no, I'm going to put not Formica, that's not too bad. They put a hardwood. So they might replace the drawer runners with a hardwood instead of the wood that it had. And that sounds smart to a point, but then what happens, it wears out the drawers a lot quicker because of the friction being caused. But that is a job that's easy to do, and we should do it one day. I'll see if I can find a little chest of drawers or a bedside cabinet that has that problem and we can fix it. Well, that's about it. I'm thinking it's 7 o'clock, so I possibly should go up and see what's happening in the house. But thank you for your company. I love these little impromptu chats, and I think it's going to be a regular thing, but until I can be absolutely sure I can commit to Wednesday night or Tuesday morning, depending whereabouts you are, I can't say it's a definite, but for the next couple of weeks, I think I'll be able to turn up, which will be fun. And then hopefully it will become regular. So I'll be regular on Mondays or Sundays, depending where you are, Wednesdays or Tuesdays, Thursdays or Wednesdays, and Saturdays or Fridays. So until we meet again, please, anyone that's followed me on Twitch, thank you so much. The subs, thank you. Donations, thank you. I appreciate it. Subs on YouTube, I appreciate it. I appreciate the banter, the comments. I hope I've helped you with problems that you've had. The next stream from me will be on Saturday, which will be Friday night, north of the equator, with the old mate Theo. He's doing some wood turning. I'm going to be finishing off that cabinet. We'll get back to the music stands that we started to make. I've got more work to do on the chessboard. In the meantime, this is Steve pulling the shed door down and saying, remember to keep it sharp, but more importantly, keep it safe. Look after yourself, be kind to each other. God bless, have a great time, and I will see you in the shed very, very